They're going to have to call timeout. Use their final timeout in the first quarter, but they don't. I don't know.
They got 12 people on the field.
They did too,
I'm
Coach.
telling you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
They brought in Jermaine Ellerby.
They got 12, and the daggum officials didn't see it. They had 2 tight ends on the right, 1 on the left, and 3 backs in the backfield. You count them.
12. There's 12. There's 12 on the field right now.
I promise you.
There's 12 on the
because
field
I immediately,
right now.
when I saw him coming in, I immediately looked at formation. It was a 2 tight bone. And I was like, where is he going to line up?
6-3 is your final at the end of 12 minutes of play. We come back with the second quarter of the Conway Medical Center Friday Night Rivals, powered by Mr. Sparky.
And my biggest question now, Alan, is where the officials took their math.
There were definitely 12 players on the field.
Oh, no doubt. Who told you the story?
We're back. Okay, there we are. We're back at Fox Field, and a little history for you, Coach. Brian Hennessy played for the legendary Bob Rankin here, and he was the place kicker for the historic 3-13 win, and the send them deep into the state playoffs in 1983. So we're about the same age, and so Hennessy's got a lot of history and a lot of.
And if he's your age, he's got a lot of age too.
No, he's got a lot of age. Got a lot of age and a lot of.
Yeah, Brian's a good man, and he loves Swamp Fox football. He's been a part of it all of his life.
He's been very cooperative with us this week, and we appreciate Coach Hennessy for what he's done. And deep in their own territory, Cheraw takes it over, and a toss sweep to the left on second down and about 13 maybe. Second down and 12. They lost a couple of yards on that first down play. They got a couple back, so it's third down and 10.
And that was a quarterback on the tackle then, Cusack. So I'd run that sweep and make him tackle over and over and over, because he is going to be the game guy as far as it comes to Marion. And the more plays they can make him and two play on defense, the better off they are.
Third down and 10 coming up, under 11 and a half to play before they snap it. And I'm trying to make out exactly, it looks like close to the 16-yard line. This is a real grass field, which we don't see very often here in South Carolina anymore. They give it off to
they're going to have to punt this one out, I think, Alan. We're looking at 4th down here and about 5 to go.
Yep.
And I'd be real surprised if they don't punt it. Particularly they've got, they do a pretty good job punting with Austin McIntosh. That tackle was made by Robert Eady, by the way, who is, along with Pearson, the leading tackler coming into this game.
Right at the 22-yard line. 1st and 10. Coach, you know what I think that fire truck is on the other side? You were asking about it before. It's got a bucket that's hanging over. I think I heard there's going to be a ping pong ball drop at halftime for charity on the baseball field, which is to our right. So they may have it kind of cordoned off. Yeah, there's a bucket there. They're putting ping pong balls in, and they're about to
so are they going to drop them and pick one out that's got a number?
Yeah, or cordon off the field where wherever the ball lands in their quadrant, somebody's going to win some money for charity.
Okay.
So I think I heard that was right. That's what our buddy, and we want to thank so much one of the attorneys here in Marion that has been contacting us all week long, Philip Atkinson. Cannot thank him enough for all that he has assisted us with this week.
Yeah, and he's been most cordial. And we had a sack then by Singleton, and it looked like one of the DL, too. They just closed up on him. They brought Singleton off the edge then from that outside linebacker position, and it proved to be good to him because now it puts them in a 2nd and 16 situation.
They must have said the quarterback was down when Atkinson got the ball. Or Singleton got the ball because he came out of the pile with it.
Oh, yeah. Well, getting back to this field, they've done a good job over the years of maintaining this field. They take a lot of pride in the surface, and it's always a good field to play on.
So twin receivers for the home team in plus territory at the 45-yard line. Cusack fires across the middle. It was tipped and then caught.
Wow.
Nice job by the receiver to keep his eye on the football and brought it down. I believe that's Tyrese Davis.
Yeah, that was number 12, Kerry Moody, that made that catch then.
Kerry Moody.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, thank
you. You can see. Number 10.
That was number 10. That's Tyrese Davis.
Okay, Tyrese Davis. And he's a backup quarterback, but he's
quarterback.
Had some catches at receiver. And there again, I think you're going to see Marion. They're better when they spread the ball around. They got a lot of receivers involved, so I think you're going to see more of that.
So Cusack on a Myrtle Beach Hyundai 1st down moves it deep into Cheraw territory. They hand off to the tailback, Isaiah Reeves. Reeves weaves his way.
And, Alan, once you get those linebackers conscious of the passing game, conscious of getting into those drop zones, that's when that between the tackle offense is so effective. That tackle then was made by Marshall, number 28.
Reeves jukes and jives his way for 7 yards. It's 2nd down and 3 in the red zone, inside the 20. 8:49 to play in the first half. It's 6-3. Marion scored on their first play from scrimmage after taking a punt return some 70 yards to the 5-yard line. And Cheraw answered back with a 38-yard field goal on the next possession, and now we've got a Cheraw player down.
Yeah, that's Henry Singleton. He's going off. He looked like he may have nicked his ankle or something. It's hard to say. But anyway, the thing that I've been impressed with Cheraw on their rush, if you notice, they're not getting a lot of diagonal space in there.
Yeah, Singleton's going off the field, and while they attend to him, we will attend to this timeout. 6-3. Halfway through our second quarter, as you watch the Friday night rivals from Conway Medical Center, and it is presented by Mr. Sparky.
2 yards, it'll be 3rd down, 5 to go for the Swamp Foxes, and we'll have a timeout here.
Let me see if I can't find her just to get her ready.
Appears this will be a media timeout. Again, we want to thank our friends from the CW21 stopping by to cover our game tonight. Friday Night Rivals, and that's powered by Mr. Sarkey. It's the game of the week. You can also watch and follow along on ABC 15 News Facebook page. And after the game, make sure to watch the End Zone on ABC 15. All the high school football highlights from around our area with sports Brandon Dunn. Starts tonight at 11:20 only on ABC News 15. I want to thank the sponsors of Medical Mr. Sparky's
Marion trying to add to their 3-point lead here almost midway through the second quarter. 8:25 to go as the Swamp Foxes have put a sustained drive together here. The first score was a 5-yard drive after a long punt return. Now they've got 3 receivers to the boundary side right. The quarterback has rushed out of the pocket. Cusack, that's a bad thing because he can take it all the way. And he stopped short. And I need to watch the monitor because I can't see all the way down there from where I'm at.
Well, they had a great opportunity of stopping him at the line of scrimmage, but he did a little sidestep back inside and bounced outside, and they didn't have a chance running him down. Cusack is pretty thick, but he can run, too.
He's their top rusher, Coach. 338 yards coming in, and he's added at least 50 to that tonight. So Gabriel Cusack is a senior. He's accounted for 13 touchdowns on the year. And it is 1st and goal from the 2-yard line.
And you notice they're direct snapping right now, and it looks like the ball
is going to go to Reeves. Reeves looks like he made it. We haven't had a signal yet. They're saying no, 2nd down. He was short.
That tackle was made by Devon Ellerby then. And again, you're going to see with the nature of what they're doing, those linebackers are going to have to play for Cheraw. They got to play. They got to take away the quick ends on defense, but they also got to step up and make the play when they rush the football between the tackles.
Cusack is up under center. He takes it quarterback sneak this time, and there's still no signal. Now there is touchdown for Marion, and they waited a while to make sure that he crossed the goal line, and Gabriel Cusack adds to their 2nd touchdown. The first one was by Reeves, and it's another Carolina Cool touchdown, adds to their lead by 6. And we'll see if they go for 2 this time or try to kick the extra point, which they missed. It was blocked the last time.
Well, nonetheless, they're an 8-point lead right now, so it's really doesn't give them any numerical advantage one way or the other.
And here's the CMC replay, and let's see if the side judge, he should have raised his hands way before that. He was in the end zone, his entire torso.
Yeah, but he
was in the end zone.
But that side judge was getting a cookie out of his pocket.
Yeah,
Allen, that was a 7-play drive for Marion, 60 yards and a 1-yard touchdown run, 3 minutes and 23 seconds off the clock. So far, they have been able to run and throw.
Yeah, Marion would like to carry or have sustained drives like that throughout the rest of the night to keep the ball away from the Cheraw offense, because anytime Quashid Scott is a weapon, he can do it both on the ground or through the air. And there's the 2-point conversion is good. They snapped it directly to Ronquarius Jamison, and he adds the 2 back that they lost, or at least the 1 they lost on the last possession. So it is now an 11-point.
Yeah, and that gives them a 2-score lead. And anytime you've got a running football team like Cheraw has shown thus far, that's what you do. Now, I'm interested to see if Cheraw opens it up a little bit, Allen, because they're 2 scores down now, and they have typically been a team that has both thrown and rushed the football.
Tonight's closed captioning is exclusively brought to you by the Bath Fitters. 7:14 to play, second quarter. Home team up by 11 now.
You know, one thing that we haven't acknowledged. One thing that we haven't acknowledged, Alan, is that
is that not what it is? 3:14? It looks like 7:14.
No, it's 3. Oh, time.
The time. What do you do?
That's 7 seconds, 7.14.
No, it's 7 minutes and 14 seconds
if it is,
left
if it
in
is,
the second quarter. They've got the colon in the wrong spot. Yes.
Yes.
They do have the colon in the wrong spot. I've noticed that all night long. But it's 7 minutes and 5 seconds left in
Alan,
the first half.
On that return was Nick Gordon. He had a great return. He hit it up the gut and then popped it outside. And luckily, Marion was able to run him down. But it put Cheraw in great position to make this a one-score game again. And you can see him right here. He does a great job. But number 6 does a great job making sure he gets out of bounds there. That was Richard Eady.
Yeah, Nick Gordon on the return takes it all the way into Marion territory at the 34-yard line, right in front of us now. So I can see where that wishbone offense is coming from.
Oh yeah, and they're gonna leave it right here as long as they can get positive yardage.
And they give it to Justin Joint, and Joint is knocked off his pins after a gain of 2.
You know, y'all in these rural small towns,
yeah, again, Joint has been right impressive for a freshman, Alan.
I'm hearing my man Rodney Rodney Berry down on the sideline. He's talking to somebody. He's getting some information for us, Coach. I can hear him in my headset.
Yeah, I heard him too, so he better hush.
He's talking to the principal. They're going to talk to her again in just a few minutes. But it's 2nd down and 8 after the 2-yard gain by Joint. Quarterback hands off. Same call, but it goes to the opposite direction. Joint goes down after a gain of 2 more, so it'll be 3rd down and 6.
Well, actually, Alan, I think they're going to be a little bit less than that, and as long as they can have
they gave him a good spot down to the 20.
As long as they can have a 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 4, they're in 4-down territory. So I think you can kind of count on that right here.
3rd and 5, they gave him 1 more yard to the 27.5, so it'll be 3rd and 5 from right there. They need to get just inside the 24-yard line for the first down.
Yeah, and a ground team like this feels like they need to get 3 right here.
They split the man wide to their left side. That is Harrington. You got the wishbone behind Nolan. Nolan hands off on the counter to Ford. I thought he handed to Joint for a second, but he pulled it out of Joint's belly and gave it to Ford, and Ford carried for no gain, really. He might have lost a half yard, so it's going to be 4th down and a little more than 5.
Yeah, and that was a counter dive, and I thought Pearson did a good job staying home at middle linebacker, came up and made that play, and that was a big play for him. And I thought that Cheraw had already used their three timeouts in the first half.
Remember when we were going to give them the 12 players on the field where they had to call timeout? They didn't call timeout, and they didn't get the extra man on the field. They didn't get penalized. So they are using the timeout right here. That's their 3rd and final. And I think let's go down to our man Rodney Berry, former mayor and our sideline reporter with the principal of Marion High School.
Hey guys, we're back here with Principal Miss Lewis Smith, pulling double duty. She's back with us. Listen, in a small rural town like this, you're forced to do more with less quite often, right?
That's very true. Yes, we are.
So I was walking the sidelines before the game, and your players were so cordial. Y'all obviously teaching them soft skills at Marion High.
Yes, we are. We've got some great students at Marion High School. We're excited about our academics as well. We have a partnership with Florence Dalton Technical College, dual enrollment classes, and we're partnering with the ACT Center. We have a program, they call it the Hub actually. So they offer lots of programs there for our students to be a part of.
Outstanding. She's on the ball, folks. Back at you guys.
We've seen Cheraw in a spread position.
Intercepted Marion, and he might take it all the way. He's got blockers. They're going to knock Nolan out of the way, and he's going to return it 70 yards for a touchdown.
And Alan, I'll tell you what I think the most impressive thing there was what Cusack did. And you're going to say, well, what did he do? Cusack ran and got in front of the guy that was chasing the guy that intercepted the ball and simply slowed down in front of him and just slowed down. And that's an example to all the young guys. If you'll watch Cusack right here, it's very impressive. He's going to catch this group of people, and then he's going to slow down in front of the quarterback. See right here?
Yep, Tyshawn Sanders.
Yeah, and then he
had a host of people helping him take it all the way.
No doubt about it.
That was a 71-yard interception return for a touchdown, so a second explosive play for the Swamp Foxes tonight.
Yeah, and that tells me why Cheraw was doing what they were doing. They knew how good the secondary was. This secondary's got to pick every ball game, make that another one, and I think 3 of those have been turned into touchdowns.
So just under 5 minutes to play here in the second quarter. And Marion has now taken a commanding 3-touchdown lead.
But Alan, it seems to me that this game has pretty much been equally played for the most part.
You're right.
It doesn't look as if Marion has been dominant. They've just made big explosive plays.
Right, like you said. I mean, I hear that. You hear that at the college level all the time. How many explosive plays in the game is the difference? Obviously, turnovers are a big difference, and that is one right there.
Well, and you take Marion, they had a big turnover down here, a turnover there, and then on the kickoff return early, put them in shape, and then that interception return. So a lot of their yardage have not been generated by the offense, but by the special teams and others.
Yeah, they've only had the one sustained drive. And, Paul, how long was that long drive? 60. But how many yards? Only about 65?
That was a 14. You talking about Marion's?
Yeah, the Marion's long drive.
Yeah, they had a
yardage. I know it was 7 minutes and something, but I thought it was only about 64.
They had 43
yards on the ground, and
they
had that one. They had
that
one pass that was tipped and caught, so it was only about a 65 to 70-yard drive.
Yeah, and Cheraw did a great job sniffing that out. They tried to run a counter out of the wishbone, and Cheraw was there to meet them in the backfield.
That is the 5th time this year that they have missed on the 2-point conversion, so it stays at 20-3. But when you can turn teams over and keep the ball away from their offense.
Yeah, and that important tackle then was made by it looks like Henry Singleton down there, the weak side linebacker, and those 2-point conversions are important. Particularly in a game like this, and I fail to believe right now that it's really a 17-point game because it feels much closer than that.
Well, on our radio station in Florence, ESPN Radio 96.3 FM, by the way, Marion was in the first game of the season against Wilson, and they won the game, but it was only close because they missed 4 2-point conversions. They can come back to bite you.
They sure can.
Here's a 2-step drop kick and return for Cheraw. It's going to be brought across the 35.
And
that is Zay Campbell on the return.
Yeah, and that was made by a host of Marion players. It was kind of hard to tell when you got about 5 of them wrapping him up.
Has been out of high school for a long time.
We'll call it 36. Ball on the 36.
But I think he even went to the Army or something, maybe.
And still got Rodney and the principal in my headset.
Yeah, I think they're talking politics.
Yeah, exactly. I bet Rodney's running for something. All right, 20-3 is Marion on top. Home team just controlling, maybe not the balls, so to speak, but they're controlling the tempo of this game.
They sure are, and that's a good way to put it, Alan. They really are controlling the tempo.
And here's the full house backfield again. They give it off to the tailback, Ford, and Ford goes for maybe 2. I'm going to say just one and make it 2nd down and 9.
And that was Jabari Sweeney on the tackle then, the inside defensive tackle. I think he's the 3 technique. And, they've been right formidable between the tackles, Marion has. And what that means, typically, they're going to pinch it off, which allows those linebackers to do a lot of running. And that's why they're the leading tacklers for them.
Clock rolls at 4:10 in the 2nd quarter. Wishbone behind Nolan. Nolan has not thrown an interception this year until that last possession that went 71 yards for a touchdown. That was his first INT of the year.
And what Marion is doing, Alan, if you notice, they're covering both guards and the center, which really kind of conflicts that counter a little bit. They're walking one outside linebacker up using the other ones, and they've got a 5 to 6 man front, depending on how many tight ends they got.
So now Cheraw is just taking their time at 3rd down and 8. We'll call it a long 7 after a 2-yard pickup. And the play clock is running down on them.
Yeah, with the time they're taking, they're probably going to have to put the ball in the air at some point in this drive. You can see how they're crowding the middle of the field right now.
They're doing it. Here's a play-action pass to Ford. Kind of a wheel route out of the backfield and threw it short. Ford was backing up, couldn't hang on. It's going to bring up 4th down and long.
And I noticed the official on that, they got a late hit on the quarterback, and the official went to his pocket like he was going to take it, but he decided not to.
Wow.
But it was a questionable call.
Sure.
I think it could have gone either way.
I don't know about you, Coach. You've been coaching. You've forgotten more football than I'll ever know. But if the official has to think about it for more than 2 seconds, why would you then throw the flag?
Yeah, I always hated those late flags coming out.
Oh, big hit on one of the up defenders, and whistles blow before the ball is kicked. And I think it was offside against Marion. Good call by our spotter man here, Coach. Durante McClain doing our
but
spotting
I got some news for Durante. He's up here dancing with the band, and it would be okay if he could dance.
Ooh. I tell you what, he looks pretty svelte to me, Coach.
As I am, I could probably show him some moves, Alan.
I'll bet you could. Durante McClain's our spotter. Paul Gable is our stat man. Our man Rodney Berry is on the sideline, and Cheraw's going to go for it on 4th down. 4th and 4. They bring in all the people late, and they do exactly what they wanted. They drew Marion offside.
You got to give Coach an A+ on that one, Alan, because I don't think he had any intentions of snapping that football. Why would you with an explosive offensive team at midfield? I think he was going to take the penalty and punt it had he not gotten that.
He had rushed everybody to the sideline like he was going to bring the punting unit on, and then all of a sudden he put the offense back out there.
That was a sweet move, and it'll especially be sweet if he's able to get any points out of this drive.
Good job by Andy Poole on that play. He just really enticed a 1st down out of Marion. 1st and 10 on the Myrtle Beach Hyundai 1st down, and a big play on 1st down, and boy, Ford is hit hard, and we got a late flag coming in from all the way. I'll bet you the back judge threw that flag about 30 yards.
Yeah, and I think he was trying to throw the flag to the spot, so it's kind of hard for me to tell what it is unless he's calling personal foul for leading with the helmet.
I was going to say that was a vicious hit.
It was a good, hard hit. I didn't see – I can see why he would call that, but I like football.
Let's see this, Val. Our replay. I think he might have led with a helmet, Coach. Oh, yeah. I don't know if you can call that targeting, but that's about as hard a hit on a running back as you'll ever see.
Yeah, and I'm not, I haven't seen a targeting call yet this year.
We haven't.
Have we had one?
I don't think we have.
I haven't seen one, so we'll see what it gets right here. Nonetheless,
there's a lot of discussion going on.
Well, and my position always was with the officials. When you got 4 of them huddled up together, that ain't good.
That's not a good thing. It's probably not good for either side, whatever the decision is.
I always said you don't want too many zebras eating the same corn.
That's it. It is a personal foul targeting. I think you hit it right on the head, Coach, and I can't deny it. I mean, that looked –
yeah.
it might have been.
Well, the reason I don't like that call, Alan, is because I maintain that you can be playing hard, solid, sound football and come in with your hat like that.
Yep.
And I think that's what he did. I don't think it was a cheap shot in any stretch of the imagination. It was a great hit, but it was a target.
But the letter of the law, I think, got him.
And I think the officials made a good call.
I do, too.
There.
I think they got that one right. Because that was a fairly vicious hit. And they fake it to the man, and another vicious hit. Woo! Marion's bringing the heat right now. And that was none other than
Quayshad Scott. He is a safety that walked up on the edge and came off the edge then. So Marion's rolling the dice. They're playing man-to-man outside because they feel like they can handle their guys. That gives them an extra man or two in the box.
Man, here's the CMC replay. Well, we thought we saw it, but it didn't come up. But Quayshad Scott just brought the leather on that one. And it's 2nd down and 10, no gain, and he's going to feel that one in the morning. Cheraw has gone away from the wishbone now and spread offense, Coach. Twin receivers left and one to the right. Single set back, they hand to him.
And I think they feel like time demands it right here, Alan, because they don't have any timeouts, remember.
And that's Cam McClendon, who has not carried the ball tonight.
Well, and without any timeouts, 1 minute and 40 seconds left, they really don't have a choice but to throw it down the field. They're going to have to do that, I think, before time expires on them.
McClendon may have gotten a couple, so it's 3rd down and 5. They bring Ford back in the ball game at tailback. He's also got Demaine Ellerby back with him.
They're taking a lot of time to get this play in,
yeah,
Alan. I've seen about 22 seconds run off the clock so far.
Twins to the field, 1 to the boundary. And they give it up the middle to Ford, and Ford is caught in the backfield and gang tackled by the Swamp Foxes.
I tell you, whether you think you're any good throwing it down the field or not, you need to do it here. They don't have a timeout. They need to throw it down the field. That tackle was made by Pearson and also Rollins.
So it's going to be 4th down and 5, and Marion, I don't know what got into them after that targeting penalty, but they have bowed their necks here.
Yeah, they have, but a lot of that, Cheraw's taking a lot of time to get the play in, given that the clock is running
down
fast.
To 35 seconds. They got to get a 1st down and then keep moving it.
They're going to go outside to Harrington. I have all ideas.
Here's the rush, and the pass is incomplete, thrown over the head of the intended receiver, Zay Campbell.
And that's going to turn the ball over to Marion.
And
you know, with Marion right here, they got a choice. They got a 3-score lead. They can throw it down the field and see what they get.
I was going to say, what would you do now, Coach Chuck Jordan? What would you do right here?
It depends on what kind of matchup I thought I had outside with my receiver and what they were doing defensively. But why not throw it down the field?
Like I said, I remember Ground Chuck when I moved to Horry County some 30 years ago, but then you evolved into Air Jordan.
That's
this would be a perfect situation for Air Jordan right here.
Well, again, it depends on what they've got. You got to know the other team's personnel, and you got to know who you're trying to target as well. And it looks like they're going to be satisfied with downing the ball and going in with a 17-point lead.
Yeah, this is the safety formation, and they almost blow it. And then it's picked up. He's going to run with it. That is Quayshad Scott. Boy, and that could have been disaster.
And, Alan, the best thing for him to do there is to fall on that football because he creates all kind of possibilities when he starts running around with it. Keep in mind, they had no timeouts left.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you what, Coach Brian Hennessy is wiping his brow and taking a deep breath right now.
You know, how many times have you seen that?
Yeah, but timeout on the field at halftime. It is 20-3. Marion in front of the Cheraw Braves on the Conway Medical Center Friday Night Rivals, powered by Mr. Spark.
All right, you can go back and see your girlfriend, but you'll be back up here before that clock strikes 12.
Welcome to the A&I Fire and Water Restoration Halftime Report.
The A&I Fire and Water Restoration Halftime Report. A&I Fire and Water Restoration is making your house home again after a disaster strikes. And each week, we feature 2 scholar athletes, one from each school. And at the end of the season, Benjamin Franklin, the punctual plumber, will give one scholar athlete a $5,000 scholarship. Let's look at tonight's scholar athletes of the week. First for the Marion Swamp Foxes, it's Parker Bailey. Marion GPA 3, or make that 4.7. I don't even know what that is anymore. 4 years of varsity football state runner-up. A Beta Club, helps organize fundraisers, and obviously one of the top leaders on the football team for the Swamp Foxes. And for the Cheraw Braves, that's Parker Bailey. It's Cheraw High School. GPA 4.55. And he has a school record for the most points by a kicker. 2021 Kicker of the Year. 2022 All-Region Kicker. And we've already talked about him extensively tonight, Coach. Again, I commented on number 47. I don't care what number he wears. He's a weapon.
Yeah, and he was 10 for 10, Allen, and now he is 6 for 7, I think, now kicking extra point or field goals.
No question. And timeout on the field with halftime, a 20-3 lead for the home team over the visitors from Chesterfield County. Come on back. We got more of the Conway Medical Center Friday Night Rivals powered by Mr. Sparky.
We'll be right back with more from the A&I Fire and
What
Water
was that all
Restoration
about?
Halftime Report. Welcome to the A&I Fire and Water Restoration Halftime Report.
Tony Zach from Ben Franklin Plumbing. Thanks for joining me, buddy. All right. Hey, you guys give out the Scholar Athlete every year, and you've been doing so for 5 years now. Funny story. You went to the Citadel. The kid who went last year from Carolina Forest went to the Citadel, and you got to see him at orientation.
Yeah, sure did. It was a neat experience, both probably for him, but it was real cool for me just to be able to give back and have him go to where I graduated college from. It was real neat. Great kid. Heck, every kid that applies for that scholarship, it makes it so tough because they're all so worthy of a scholarship, and we have a lot of fun with it at the office, and we grade everybody on their videos, and we make it a lot of fun.
Well, I appreciate it. And I know the kids do as well, giving back and giving that scholarship to those folks. So thank you very much.
Sir.
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
All
Glad
righty.
to be a part of it.
The best Thursday night lights and Friday night rivals highlights from across the country.
Very sad he has to miss this game, but his brother just made a big play. And they're arguably Station Camp's two best players. Here comes the best player on the field for Springfield. C.J. Cobbins is everywhere. 97 yards to the house.
4th down and 1. The game on the line. They hit it to McCollum, and he gets up to the outside. He's to the 10, steps inside to the 5, and the big man, Angelo McCollum.
Wants to air it out. Looking for Donnelly up the near side. He's got him inside the 20. First down, Trojans.
Running the ball today.
And on first down, they're going deep, and he's got Caden Lloyd. And the first play of the game goes for a touchdown.
Shotgun snap. Deeps far side. That's caught.
Bruce Lass going over the middle. Picked off! A game-saving interception.
Intercepted. Ball game.
The freshman Colton Overby to win it. Intercepted by Alan Dickerson. Springfield wins.
We'll be right back with more from the A&I Fire and Water Restoration Halftime Report. Welcome to the A&I Fire and Water Restoration Halftime Report.
Todd Setzer, A&I, congratulations on the new ownership. Congratulations, that's awesome. Let's talk about your sponsorship. You've been with Friday Night Rivals for a long time now. What's it mean for you to be part of this big event?
Every year, like I said,
we
love seeing the kids out here, and you think about just the Friday night athletes, coming out day in and day out, seeing the local schools participate, and obviously the communities we serve. And so anymore, you see these kids now that are going from high school into college, and so now you're seeing that transition. So for us, just be a part of that process for them. Kids are back in school, seeing the student athletes, and so we appreciate being a part of it. And we appreciate what y'all do day in and day out. We get to watch the highlights on Friday night, and that's a big part of the week for us, so we appreciate that.
Yes, and you've been a big sponsor for Friday night for the End Zone, too, for a long time, and we do appreciate that, going on 20-something years for the End Zone, man, so it's been going on. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
All righty.
Back on the A&I Fire and Water Restoration halftime report, it's 20-3. The Marion Swamp Foxes at home are in front. And I want you to stick around after the game for the CW's regularly scheduled Friday night lineup of shows. You cannot wait because we're going to have a movie at 11, but bring it on at 10 o'clock. But then here's my favorite part of Friday night. After we're done, I get to go home, kick back, take off my shoes, and at 11:20 exactly, flip over to ABC 15 for all the highlights from the area on the End Zone with sports director Brendan Dunn and Andrew James. The End Zone starts again promptly at 11:20 on ABC 15 News. More of the Friday Night Rivals. It's Conway Medical Center and presented by Mr. Sparky.
We'll be right back with more from the A&I Fire and Water Restoration halftime report.
Tony Zag from Mr. Sparky joining us now to talk. How you doing, buddy?
I'm great.
Good,
man.
good.
I'm great. It's
hey,
great to be back out here.
I know football season. Hey, just talk about your sponsorship for this event over the last 5 years and just what it means for you to sponsor Friday Night Rivals.
You know, it's so nice for us to be able to come out here, support all the area's youth, including the PD, which we have a store at now, where we're able to handle their plumbing and electrical needs as well. But, just being throughout the whole community, it gives these young athletes a way to shine a little bit, and we like helping them be able to highlight those days of their being out here playing hard and digging in. Standing out here, you're seeing some student athletes already practicing out here, and it's warm.
I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you for sponsoring it.
Yeah.
Back on the A&I Fire and Water Restoration halftime report, the Marion Swamp Foxes scored on their first play from scrimmage after a long punt return, and then they had a sustained drive and then scored on a interception return for a touchdown to take a 3-touchdown lead, 20-3. And tonight's closed captioning is exclusively brought to you by the Bath Fitters. And Coach, talk about those highlights from the first half.
Well, I think, first of all, Aiden Nolan is typically throwing the ball well. He's 32 for 76 on the year for 3 touchdowns. But tonight, at this point, he is 0 for 6, and the only completion he's had was to Marion. and so he had a 70-yard touchdown return. So they have 74 yards rushing and no yards passing. On the other hand, Marion has 53 rushing yards and 25 passing yards, total of 78. So we really haven't seen a lot of offense.
No.
Now, and also Cusack is 2 for 3 throwing the football. But, you know, Alan, the bottom line is, where do you put interception yardage in the statistics? My son wanted to know that. He was coaching at South Florence, so he coaches at South Florence. They're in a 14-7 deficit right now at South Point at halftime. But
that's a big game right there.
Yeah, and he asked me, they're both top 10 teams. He asked me the question. He said, Dad, he said, when the other team when we score a touchdown with an interception, do we get to take that off of the passing yardage that we've allowed? And I said,
That's
no,
a good
son.
question.
I said, you're talking from a defensive coach's perspective.
That's
but
right.
No, that doesn't happen.
South Florence ranked number 1 in the state. South Point ranked number 3 in 4A. They may see each other again later in the season.
Yeah, there's a very good chance they will. And yet, you know, it's early in the season. Sometimes a good loss at the right time is a good thing for you. But you never want to admit that.
Now, I was getting ready to say, you've never said that in your life.
That was when I was coaching.
Losing is a good thing. Give me a break. Here's an onside kick, and it's a fight for it. Cheraw may have gotten it.
Yeah, and you know what? That's not a bad call for those guys. I believe Marion
did cover it up. So.
But that's not a bad call for those guys because they needed to get back in this game, and they certainly had their chances of picking that ball up.
I don't blame them at all. That's a very astute call by Andy Poole, but Marion smartly gets on it, and they'll have it 1st and 10. Excuse me, my young man. What's our Mr. McLean? Durante McLean is our spotter tonight, and our statisticians Paul Gable, sideline reporter Rodney Berry. Coach Chuck Jordan is in the booth, and I love this booth here at Marion. Open air.
Absolutely.
Best booth ever.
I don't have to smell everybody up here in the booth with me.
They were telling me how bad this booth or this press box was. I said, listen, I don't care how bad it is. I have been places worse. And when you can open it up and have nothing but air in front of you.
I tell you, I love this press box.
I do too.
We got plenty of room, and like you said, it's open air. You can see well. We don't have a light reflecting off the window like we do at so many places. So I like it.
Substitution.
Yeah, we had a substitution penalty on that first one, so they'll look at 1st and 15.
1st and 15. If you look at midfield, and you can see it to the left of your screen, there's a number 3 right at the 50-yard line. You'll see balloons with number 3 all over the place. It is in honor of Jamarick Reed, who played here as a running back in 2015 to 2018. We've got a long pass. It's caught. What a play, Jamarius Wilson. And that was on target, Daddy.
And that was Cusack to Jamarius Wilson. He was going to throw the same thing last time. What he did, he took the football, you can see on the replay, and steps up in the line just to try to get those defensive backs to stop their feet, and then he goes over the top. And really,
pretty good coverage.
Yeah, it was pretty good coverage, but Darius Garvin was one-on-one with a darn good receiver, and that makes it tough.
Big receiver, too. Jamarius Wilson, probably about 6'2", 6'3", and he hauled it in, and it's 1st and 10, and now the quarterback's going to do his business. There's Gabriel Cusack, stiff arms a defender, tries to look for the corner and turns it out of bounds, and boy, they might have had a late hit against Cheraw, and there's the flag.
Yeah.
I think we got a little extra.
That was either the officials or one of the cheerleaders might have thrown that flag because it was right over there among them.
Yeah.
And you know what happens on that? It's really hard when you chase a guy all the way across the field not to lay some leather on him when you get the opportunity.
No question. I was talking about Jamarick Reed again, a running back here at Marion during the late teens, 2005 to 2018. He entered the military and was killed in the line of duty. Loved wearing camouflage, so everybody that you see on the sideline tonight just about has something camouflage on, and that's in honor of Jamarick Reed. who was, again, was a great player here at Marion and killed in the line of duty. He was a military hero.
Yeah, and that's quite an honor for he and his family, Alan.
Now, there you see one of the players wearing the camouflage. That is Jamarius Williams, and all the coaches have camouflage on underneath. Even our friend next door had the camouflage, our PA announcer.
I've seen all the camouflage. There's a good bit in the stands as well.
And here's a running play deep in Cheraw territory. Marion got there in a hurry after that long pass.
And I think if nothing else, Alan, if Marion can put the ball in the end zone right here, they're going to force Cheraw to throw the ball around the yard a little bit. And so far they haven't completed a pass. So really it's going to be tough for Cheraw to get back in this game without having to throw the football.
Again, from my vantage point, very difficult to see in the open air, so I'm going to watch the monitor here, looking for Gabriel Cusack. They snap it directly to Quaysheed Scott, and Scott, I think, is going to gallop into the end zone for the touchdown make it a 4-score game.
And they sent both backs backside. You can see they send both backs backside. They pull the guard, and it looked like the tackle and just followed those big guys through the hole there.
Snapped it directly to Quaysheed Scott, and Scott used the counter and the pulling guards to take it in the end zone almost untouched on the Carolina Cool touchdown. And that's cool.
And the key to that play is getting something on the linebackers. You can't let them run free right here. And so obviously the center and guard did a good job blocking backside then.
All right, 26-3. They're trying to chase that extra point again, Coach.
Well, you know, they went two plays, they went 59 yards, a minute and 13 seconds, and Marion has proven how explosive they are. They every touchdown they have has been an explosive play, other than the first touchdown, but it followed an explosive play.
Yeah, that long pass to Jamarius Wilson, maybe one of the best thrown balls we've seen this year. So Gabriel Cusack can do it both with his legs and his arms.
Well, he certainly is an impressive player for him. Of course, we got the ball on the ground here.
Yep.
But, you know, as well as Marion is executing and playing, they don't do it very well on two-point conversions.
Two-point conversion is their bugaboo right now.
Most of the time when you see a kicker missing, you say,
all right, we take time out. We'll get to that point, Coach. Just hold it. We'll be right back with the Conway Medical Center Friday Night Rivals, powered by Mr. Sparky. There's a big part of the game. Swamp Fox cheerleaders. They love. Is that one of your girlfriends there? DeMorris, come on now. Come on. Durante. I call him DeMorris. Durante.
Durante's just a freshman. He can't qualify.
He can't qualify varsity for cheerleaders yet. You don't qualify varsity cheerleader yet, huh?
Yeah, you got to grow up.
That's right.
Got to get a little. Let me see. No, he doesn't have any hair on his chin, so that's what it is.
Yeah. Durante is doing a good job for us tonight, and so he's taking care of the coach, and Marion is taking care of all the scoring so far with 3. We call them explosive plays, but they've been massive plays.
Well, they really have. They've been very opportunistic for the first thing. I mean, they took the ball down on that opening kickoff, went down close, punched it right in. And And the biggest thing, I think that 70-yard pass return, interception return probably changed the course of the game as much as any play so far.
And Cheraw has had to actually get out of their,
exactly
the wishbone offense to open things up, because now you're down 3 scores.
Yeah, but
three scores plus.
But when you go back and look at Cheraw and what they've done to this point, they have been a pretty balanced team in terms of run pass. But they obviously came in here thinking they were going to run the ball over Marion. That's what it appeared to me.
They wanted to control the clock.
The tempo, yeah, absolutely.
And Marion has just hit those 3 massive plays on them. And here's a big return for Cheraw. Oh, big hit. Goodness gracious. Bring in that. That's a freshman, says Durante.
Well, and we've got a flag on the sideline, and it's kind of hard to tell what it might be.
Brought the wood on that play.
Yeah, but they had a lot of people converge over there, and I'm afraid we're going to get another targeting on that, but I don't know.
All right, here's an A&I Fire and Water Restoration
replay.
replay. Watch
this.
this.
See, Alan.
I don't know that this one is targeting. The last one we think was. I don't know about this one. No, he led with his shoulder. He just got him. He got him head on.
In my opinion, that was not targeting, but that's going to be the call. You watch what I tell you.
I think he led with his shoulder, Coach.
I agree he led with the shoulder, but that ain't what they see all the time.
I know they don't see it that way. You're right.
Yeah,
and they want to err on the side of caution.
Well, and the other part of that picture is that you don't have the advantage in high school. And I can tell you, looking at Coach Hennessy's reaction, I can tell you that's what the call was. He doesn't like it.
It was unsportsmanlike conduct, not a targeting. They did give him unsportsmanlike. So maybe he said something to him after he knocked him out of bounds. Durante says he barked at him after he knocked him out of bounds.
Well, and any time you stand over a pretty good hit, you're going to pay the price for it.
Yeah, that's what Durante.
But nonetheless, Brian's not real happy with it. He's still got his arms folded down there.
That added 15 yards to the run out to the 45. And here's a reverse. Now he was looking to throw, and he fumbles. I believe Marion came away with it. That is the 3rd turnover of the night if the Swamp Foxes get it. The last one went 71 yards for a touchdown. And the head official says football. Yes.
And who made that play? We can tell right here. It looks like
number 60 and from behind, and right here,
I thought it was
number
Tyshawn
7.
Sanders coming in from behind and chasing the play down.
It was Tyshawn Sanders who caused the fumble, and then it was chased down by Maurice Hughes.
Well, I tell you what's getting ready to happen. Marion's going over the top right now.
They've got the football back, and they want to put a knife in it right now.
They're going over the top right now.
You've got Isaiah Reeves as the up back, deep back, quarterback Cusack. You're right, Coach. He's going for it all, and he's got a man open. Touchdown for Marion, Quaysheed Scott. Coach, you called it 100% right there.
Well, you can see the flow of the game, and I think Marion feels like they got them with their pants down, and now they're going to go over the top and put the game out of reach. You can see on the replay right here, he rolled out and he just ran a post cut. And he felt like, they've been getting a lot of man-on-man coverage out there on the edge, and it's kind of hard to cover the quality of receivers you have in Quaysheed Scott, Jamarius Wilson, and Jamarius Williams. It's tough.
How much did you pay for that crystal ball tonight, Coach?
Well, Brian told me when he had 10 minutes left, he was going over in the top in the 3rd quarter. So
there you go. Well, he did exactly that. And they score it. How long was that touchdown, Paul?
That was a 40-yard touchdown
40
pass,
yards.
a one-play drive, and it took 7 seconds.
Ha! I mean, listen, if you get plays like that, you don't need sustained drives, do you, Coach? That's crazy. We got to take time out here. We'll come back and we'll analyze the 4 enormous plays by Marion to put them on top 34-3. And the Conway Medical Center Friday Night Rivals is powered by Mr. Sparky. back here at Fox Field in Marion. This is,
I got 3.
When we talk about historic fields, Coach, you played here.
Yeah, as a matter of fact.
This is historic.
As a matter of fact, I remember I was returning a punt about the 30-yard line. I dropped it, fell on the ball to protect the ball, and one of them daggone swamp foxes jumped on my back with both of his knees, and I ended up in the Marion Hospital that night.
I was going to say, did the lights go out?
The lights didn't go out, but I'd be daggum, I thought I was dead.
Yeah. I tell you what, I always laugh because I have to do it once every year. Once when the first time somebody jumps offside, I always say that's offside, not offsides, because, there's only one side to be off of. And then when somebody gets the wind knocked out of them. I heard it was who used to do Monday Night Football. It was the play-by-play along with Howard Cosell and Don Meredith. Frank Gifford. Thank you, Paul. Frank Gifford had the line. Here's a kickoff. It's going to be returned and a gang tackle again by Marion. When somebody gets Frank Gifford, another freshman. My man Durante is identifying all the freshmen.
The Marion crowd is really getting excited right now,
and
it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for Cheraw the rest of the way. We still got a half of football to play, and so Cheraw needs to sustain something right here and keep the ball away from Marion for a period of time.
Yeah, when Frank Gifford said one time that when you got the wind knocked out of you, he said, you feel quite certain you're going to die. And I said, he's exactly right. You feel quite certain you are going to die. And that time, a couple of times, I've seen some wind knocked out of these guys. Right now, there's no wind in the Cheraw sails at all as they hand off up the middle, and Marion is just stuffing everything. That was Amari Short for Cheraw, his first carry tonight.
Yeah, and that was Jamarius Rawlings, and it looked like maybe Raquarius Jamison on the tackle then.
Short goes out of the ball game.
Yeah, and what's going to get tough for us, Alan, I think you're probably going to see some substitution on Marion's part.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result, we don't have a lot of depth on our depth chart, so we're going to have to be guessing on some of these tackles and runs.
Austin McIntosh, normally a tailback, is split out wide to the right. They've got Short, actually not Short, but Joint back in the ball game. And they get the yards they lost back. Go ahead and point, Coach. Durante, if you want to. Jamarian Davis, is that who you're looking at? Okay, Jamarian Davis on that tackle for Marion. They're putting in a lot of substitutions as well.
Yeah, and I can tell you where they're not substituting at the corner position. They still got their quarterback in on one corner, or is that Scott?
And it is a spread from sideline to sideline now, but it's a play-action pass. Roll out to the tight end, and he is blasted. But here's the good news. That's their first Myrtle Beach Sunday first down here in the second half.
Yeah, we have a flag on the field, Alan. We're going to have to see what it was. And looking at where that flag is, I imagine it's motion on the offensive line.
Well, he got the sandwich shot here, one from the front, one from the back.
Early. Yeah, Marion's playing loose right now. They feel very comfortable, and it's hard to be in a game like this.
The catch was made by Crawford Poole, and he paid the price.
And they are going to back it up, Alan.
Yep, that's terrible for Poole because that was a pretty nice little play, and he got beat up on it. So let's see. Say that? Kentucky commit for one of the Marion defenders. Quashid committed to Kentucky. I think I did read that. Committed to the Wildcats. Good for him. Durante, you're coming in quite handy tonight, my man. Thank you. But that's a big penalty. That marches it all the way back to the 37-yard line of Cheraw. What was I didn't see the call. Paul, did you see what it was? Had to be a late hit, maybe, or a unsportsmanlike conduct. I didn't see him, the white hat, make it. But it's going to be
but that
third
was a long
down.
Penalty.
Good Lord, it's going to be a country mile. Yeah, third.
The only thing I can figure is
okay, they're bringing it back. That's what I was getting ready to say. I think they marched that too far back.
No, I tell you what it was. It was a motion penalty on the offensive line. They moved early, and when you mark it from the down, not from the spot of the foul,
right,
that would make it right.
So 3rd and 13 rather than 3rd and 3rd and 17 just doesn't sound right, and they're still discussing it. Now they're, well, where's he? What are they doing? This is amazing that they are.
Well,
he's marching one way, then the other way, and now it's 3rd and.
Well, and you know, Alan, they have really
10.
called a good game up to this point.
They really have.
And
They've
I
done
think
great.
They're just trying to get it right, and I can appreciate that.
So basically, it's 2nd down and 10. So they give them the down back. They start it over, and they've got a man in motion once again. That's Javion Marshall, and Marshall is the lead blocker.
And the tackle then was made by Pearson Wilson. And I tell you what's happening here. Marion is just running all over the field right now. They're playing fast, and it's going to be very hard to get back on top of this game for Cheraw.
It's almost as if the defense knows what Cheraw's going to do.
Well, and you know, the bottom line is they're well coached. Brian Hennessy does a great job, and and they know what they're doing, and they're playing fast.
And they're the number 4 ranked team in the state too.
Well, obviously they're a good football team.
And again, I don't want to get started on my sports talk show, but 2 of the teams ranked ahead of them are charter schools who recruit.
Yes.
8:05 to play
and we've got one of those charter schools in Horry County now, Alan. It's going to be interesting to see how that develops. I told Coach Wilson at Myrtle Beach, who was my quarterback back 100 years ago, I said, Coach, I said, with that charter school coming in, you're going to have to raise your recruiting budget.
We've joked about that, too, that Mickey's going to have to step his recruiting game up a little bit. But that's making fun, people. That know everything. Listen, it's just like South Florence was investigated by 8 players this year, Coach, and they passed with flying colors.
Yeah, and the truth of the matter is, when you have success, people they're going to give you every option they can, other than you being a good football coach.
Exactly. Here comes that was a nice middle screen to Ford. Ford comes close to the first down, then loses the football, but I think they're going to say his knee was down.
Yeah, I believe that ball's down. That
out.
Official spotting it 1 yard short of the sticks.
Yeah, they were short.
I think you're going to see Cheraw go for it right here. It's the only chance to get back in the game. You're looking at 4th and 1. That's the down they got to make if they got a chance of winning here.
Yeah, 4th and 1. And mentioning the recruiting again, Coach, we make fun, but every time Myrtle Beach does something just like Dillon in the old days. Every time somebody would transfer into their school, they would get investigated, and they always passed because they do things the right way in those schools. And South Florence the same way. Had 8 transfers, actually 9, and 8 of them were investigated and given clear paths to play. The one player did not pass the thing, and he has to sit out 1 year.
Well, and here's the other thing there, Alan. Things have changed tremendously just with the rules that the high school league employs now.
Yes.
And when you have a district like Florence with the superintendent approval, anybody can move anywhere with approval.
Mm-hmm.
And so if they have that, then the league doesn't have a dog in that fight. I think what you're going to see with the charter school in Horry County, you're going to see more and more of that because they can recruit the entire county. And I know of some people even from Conway that have some basketball players that have gone there and some other sports. And it just is what it is.
Well,
and so what you got to do is learn how to deal with it, learn how to whoop it, drive on.
Yeah, I hate it. Like I say on my show, though, Coach, and this is the last I will say of it, I promise.
I doubt it.
There are hills to die on. This is one that I would die on. I'm sorry.
Well, I feel the same way. You know, coming out, last time I coached was 6 years ago, and it was quite different in that respect 6 years ago.
So, 4th and 1. Cheraw's got to get this, sir.
What Marion is doing right now, they're leaving their free safety in the box. They're manning up outside on the 3 wideouts. And if you got the personnel that can play man-to-man coverage like that,
I was going to say, why wouldn't you have a deep safety here, though?
Well, you would have a deep safety because he's got him in the box right now. Now he may back out before the ball snap, but they look like they're playing man-free, which gives the free safety the autonomy to play the run, play the pass.
Well, it's likely they're going to run the ball here, but now we're going to have a timeout. Cheraw wants to talk about it. So there you go.
Why in the world you want to talk after having that much time off? I can't imagine.
Yeah, they maybe they wanted to look and see what Marion was going to do defensively, and it's just changed. But again, you got South Florence, where, like you said, you got a superintendent there that cares a lot. But South Florence had transfers from Carolina Forest, from Lake City, from Marion, Mullins. They had a lot of them.
And every one of them were legitimate.
And every one of them were legitimate.
And that's what you got to understand. Now, at the same time, it's the world we live in now, because I maintain that everything flows down.
Absolutely. All right, here's a quick timeout for Mr. Sparky. Nope. We'll do it as they head back out on the field. This is going to be a big play. Maybe the biggest play of the night for Cheraw. 4th down and 1 from the 47-yard line. Need to get inside the 46, close to the 45.
Marion has determined based on their alignment that they're running the football, but I would not be surprised to see it go down the field.
Yeah, they do hand it off, and Ford is tackled in the backfield. Marion they brought the house, Coach. They were not willing to give up that yard.
Marion's been coming off the edge all night, and then they took Pearson and put him outside. He came off the edge, as you can well see. But that was Cusack and Pearson. And look at that. Woo. Those are 2 football players, I promise you.
Talk about pursuit now. I mean, it's almost as if they smelled the football.
Well, they're able to take it off the edge. And what happens there, if you got tight splits like Cheraw does, it closes that edge down a little bit. And your edge players, if they're athletic, they can make an impact on the football game.
Now it's time for Marion. We got a flag down, maybe an illegal substitution. I think they put in too many. That's exactly what happened. They put in too many players. They broke the huddle with too many players, and they ran one off late.
Well, but what happens in a game like this when you're up 31, you're putting some subs in, and as a result, you're going to have those kind of penalties.
Yeah, you can only break the huddle with 11, and they ran one off late. So it cost them 5 yards, so it's 1st and 15.
Cheraw broke the huddle with 11, but they ran one and played with 12.
And they played with 12. And they didn't get penalized.
Seems like that's just not fair, doesn't it?
It's what they say, Coach, fair is a place where you put a blue ribbon on a pig. And here's a big run for Isaiah Reeves. Reeves carries for about 12 on the play. 6:16 to go, 3rd quarter, and now Marion just wants to run some clock here, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what you're going to see. I think you protect the ball here. You protect your playmakers. Don't put them in harm's way, and you get out of this game with a win. That's what Coach is thinking right now.
Jamarius Wilson, Jamarius Williams, and Ronquarius Jamison all head to the far side right, and you send one to the near side left, and they go right up the middle with the ball to Richard Eady. So they spread the field and ran between the guards.
And Cusack is trying to get the coach to give him the football. He's pointing to himself, but I have all ideas that Coach is going to make sure that Cusack doesn't do anything but hand it off the rest of the way.
Cusack is without question your best athlete on the field, but why, when you're up 4 touchdowns, would you put him in harm's way at all? He's just trying to tell the young man, look, we know you're good. We know you want to run the football, but we got to stay healthy. And then he runs him. And then they snap it to him, and he runs it right up the middle. So what do I know, right, Coach?
Well, I think Coach Hennessy probably listens to Cusack more than he'd like to. That tackle then was made by Henry Singleton, the outside linebacker. But you know, there again, now you see Cusack coming off the field, too. Of course, it's fourth down.
It's fourth down. They have to punt it. It's 4th and 8, 4th and 7.
But he hadn't had many times off the field. He's played both sides of the ball most of the night. He and Scott as well.
And there's my camera people up top, baby. There they are. That's my guys that are getting the shots for you up top of the press box here.
Yeah, they're trying to dance.
I love these guys. And now we got our punter out. That's Cameron Felder.
And I can tell you, Alan, when you got some substitutes on the field, there's more to getting your kicking teams on than you think there is.
Well, I think they ran on about 5 guys and ran 7 or 8 off during the last 30 seconds.
And that's my point. When you're subbing and trying to do that, it's very difficult sometimes to get the right people on the field.
And they don't come after. And, man, does he put his foot into that one. That thing was about 200 feet in the air, and it rolls dead.
And that kick was Cameron Felden, and I thought he did a really good job of getting good height on that ball.
Yes, he did.
He kicked it with his toe in the air because it was turning over like a kick.
That was some nice hang time by Cameron Felder on that one. No return by Cheraw. And people are asking now about running clock. I think last year South Florence had more running clocks than anybody. I think it's 40 points.
Well, it is. It's 40 points
in the second half.
And you know, we'll see. But now I think that Cheraw would have a little bit different to say because they're still playing this game like they got a lot of pride. And that program has been a very good program for so many years. So don't expect them to give up the ghost.
No. And you said it in the pregame. They scored 70 on them in the regular season last year, and Cheraw came back and
beat them in the playoffs.
So there's no quit in this football team.
Even though I do think you're going to see a little bit different style of football.
And Marion's just, I mean, I hate to use the old cliche pinning their ears back, but they're just bringing the heat on every play.
Yeah, and when you can, you do. And that was Richard Eady on the tackle. And, you know, when you smell blood, it's easy to play this game.
Mm-hmm. I think you hit the nail on the head, Coach. They're smelling blood in the water right now. They're becoming shark foxes.
Can't say that I've ever heard of a shark fox, Alan, but that's a good one.
I just make it up as I go, Coach. My wife says I'm not funny at all, but I think I'm pretty.
I think you're hilarious, Alan.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate that.
And that ball looked like it went a long way, but actually he was running horizontally, and they came up out of the secondary, and I think that was Quashid Scott that came up out of the secondary and made that play.
So 3rd down and very long. So probably still 3rd and 11. And Marion is just, like I said, they're making it tough to run between the tackles. And the Braves down 34-3. And the clock rolls inside 2:15. Twin receivers to the right, one to the left. Twin backs in the backfield. And they hand it off up the middle. And they're just nothing doing right there, Coach.
Yeah, and Alan, one of the issues against the Swamp Fox defense is they have 2 guys in the secondary, both Tyshawn Sanders and Quashon Scott, that have committed to play football on the next level already. Sanders is committed to App State. Scott is committed to Kentucky. So that's why they've struggled throwing the football.
And that's why they're ranked number 4 in the state, too.
You got that right. I tell you what, I was a pretty good football coach when I had some real good players.
That's it. I tell you, I was, my mentor is Dan D'Antoni, and he always used to say, like he does at Marshall now, he says, I'm not supposed to make you good players. You're supposed to make me a good coach. You make me a good coach. Don't make that. It says, I'll do what I can for you, but make me look like a good coach.
Yeah, and Marion came after that one then. We got a flag on the field, and I think, I don't know who that was on. We'll have to see. But the way Marion came after it so fast, it could have simply been offsides on them.
And the flag came from all the way up, motion penalty.
It's a motion penalty, and they're going to probably make them kick it again based on what I've seen because they don't have the ball spotted.
Well, I was getting ready to say, Coach, it looks like it was a short kick. Now, he put his bag down at the 50-yard line.
Yeah.
I think it was even shorter than that. I think he picked his bag up before, and then now he's just guessing at where to throw it back down. But be that as it may, they are going to make him kick it again. Really? Tyshawn Sanders' brother is committed to the Gamecocks? TJ.
Where is he? Is he already at?
Oh, he's already there.
He's already there,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what now, Coach, this community is not done too bad for the Gamecocks. Xavier Leggett is becoming quite the receiver for the Gamecocks.
He's actually a Mullins guy.
I know he's Mullins, but Marion County,
well, that's
he's
right.
Mullins guy. And that's a better kick, but it's going to go. Oh, no, it's a fumble. It's a free football, and I believe Cheraw got it.
And they did, and that wasn't very smart then.
No.
Anytime you try to pick up a bouncing football, you're asking for trouble. It does not bounce like a basketball. It does not bounce like a volleyball. It does not bounce like a baseball. It does not bounce like a soccer ball.
It obviously does not. That oblong sphere there just caught him. There's the A&I replay.
Yeah, and I got one thing to say about that. Knucklehead.
If I was channeling you right there, Coach. if you'd have gave me a second, I'd have said, I think he's going to say knucklehead.
Yeah, you can call a player a knucklehead when he's on the winning, the team that's ahead.
Head by 30 points, yeah.
We're still in the third quarter, Alan. That's what's hard to believe here.
And we haven't looked at our scoreboard recently. So let's and that's snapped over the quarterback's head.
Yeah, and that's a new quarterback they've got in there, Alan. It's number 1, Jamarcus Buchanan, which is the backup to Aiden Nolan. And he simply snapped it to his left, and he stuck his hand out there thinking he could one-hand that ball, and he didn't.
You're going to love this update, Coach. In the fourth quarter, South Florence has taken the lead over South Point 14-13.
And Sellers has scored the second touchdown of his night. That's the baby Sellers, Jaden.
Yeah, that's Jaden. That's
and
Lenore's little brother.
Can take off and run, but that ball game still got a lot of time. Carolina Forest is also over Stratford 31-7 at the halftime.
And that's the end of the third quarter. We'll come back with some more scores, but here it's 34-3. Home team, ranked number 4 in the state, leading it over arch rival Cheraw. We're back with more of the Conway Medical Center Friday Night Rivals, powered by Mr. Sparky. back at Fox Field in Marion, and the Foxes lead it by 31 as we enter the final 12 minutes. And tonight's closed captioning is exclusively brought to you by the Bath Fitters.
And, Alan, what I think happened in this time that we had off, Coach Hennessy wants to get his defense over there and get his offense over there and say, look, guys, we're in command of this game. It's on us. We play hard, but you play within the framework of the whistle. Don't do anything stupid. No personal fouls. Just play good, hard, solid football right now.
Now, we know that ScoreStream at times can get scores wrong as we get a jet sweep toss to Zay Campbell, and Marion just shut it down, and now we've got a late flag against the Swamp Fox. He's hot.
Well, he's arguing with the official, and that's not going to get him anywhere.
No.
But I will promise you, Coach Hennessy just got through telling him not to do anything crazy, and I think that's what he did.
Well, it's going to cost him 15.
Talking to him.
Yeah.
He got what?
Yeah, he's going to come out of the ball game, and that was Jabari Sweeney. He got flagged.
You know, the thing that I always found interesting, Alan, is players come off the field. Everybody knows what they did, and they go to the coach and say, what did I do?
What did I do? Yeah, unsportsmanlike. It's going to cost him 15 yards.
And, again, that's exactly what you don't do in this situation, because all you're doing is giving life to the other team. When they feel like that they're not being successful, you're helping them out.
Yeah, we said last week that we got the South Florence Carolina Forest score wrong because the ScoreStream got us. So I'm not going to say this is for sure.
ScoreStream. I don't trust their behind.
You were upset.
I even told my wife to score and upset her.
And she said, no, you're wrong.
So daggum ScoreStream.
Yeah, but if it's right, Irmo 28, Hartsville 7.
Yeah, that's a hard one to believe, but you never know what's going to happen on a given Friday night.
Well, Hartsville was down to Dillon by 2 touchdowns last week and came back to win. So,
yes, they did.
So you never know what might happen out there. That was Amari Short again.
And that was Dramere Pearson and Richard Eady, and those two guys have been all over the field. I'd be interested to know what their tackle numbers look like tonight, because they have certainly led the charge, and that's what they've been doing all year long. They've led the charge. But I am so impressed with this defense. Now, when you take the offense, the explosiveness they have, if they play good defense, they got a chance to keep playing.
Well,
now, the one thing that they do have an area to work on is their kicking game. They've got to get a little more solid in that area and have a better idea of what they want to do down there close to the goal line.
So Cheraw is going to punt on 4th and 12. Back to receive the kick is Quashad Scott, I believe. Quashid. Is that right? Is it Quashid? Quashid, not Quashid, Quashid. All right, Quashid Scott. And he's going to – so they're going to mark a penalty against Cheraw, 5 yards back to the 41, so it's not going to make that much difference. But speaking of Dillon, by the way, Dillon's leading Socastee just down the road from here.
Well, and what Dillon you have Memorial here, Marion has been coming after the punt, and they're doing the same thing here.
Ooh, and he punts it sideways, literally.
They caused him to kick it over here.
And I think that's going to be roughing the kicker.
Well, I don't know if we can get a rerun on that, Alan, but it would be good to see. I'd love to see it because I was actually looking downfield.
Yeah, I saw the kick, but I didn't see the. Let's watch the replay.
Let's see what it looks like.
They came after it full house.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. They didn't touch the football. I thought maybe they had touched the football. He kicked it off the side of his foot, but nonetheless they ran into the kicker. So the question here is it going to be roughing the kicker or running into the kicker?
Well, there were so many of them, you'd think it would be roughing, but I think it's only a 5-yarder. It is. It's just running into the kicker. So it's still going to be 4th down, but they're going to get 5 yards back that they lost on the penalty. So it's going to be 4th and 14
And I tell you, that kicker is conscious that he's got to catch it and kick it because they've been coming after his behind the whole ball game. And those guys are stacking up in there, and they come.
And he got rid of that in a
hurry, baby.
Yes, he did. Kicks a line drive.
You got a bunch of people trying to prove themselves and getting on the field, and they're rushing that punt. They're going to come get it.
So, pretty good kick for, under duress. And so he gets it deep into Marion territory.
Well, and, I tell you, I've been impressed with Cheraw in the fact that they haven't given up. They're playing their butts off still.
No, and they're going to beat a lot of people.
And when you get into a situation where you get down and some things happen that you don't expect, you can tell a whole lot about a character of a team and a coaching staff. And I've been impressed with the way Cheraw has continued to play the game.
Cheraw opened the season with a 30-17 loss to Marlboro County, but bounced back in week 2 to beat Hannah Pamplico, and new head coach Trey Woodbury there, and lost to Darlington last week, 34-24. Speaking of new head coaches, Jamie Johnson came from Hannah Pamplico to take over the Darlington program and has got a couple of wins for them already after they hadn't won a game in 4 years. So,
I did not realize that. Has it been that long out?
2019 was the last time they won before this year.
Game. Wow.
And they've won.
Well, good for Jamie. Jamie's a good football coach.
Good football coach.
He actually played his high school football at McBee.
Really?
And then he ended up being the head coach there and left McBee, I think, to come to Hannah Pamplico. And then
you're
Hannah
a good
Pamplico
South
to
Carolina
Darlington.
man, and you don't know how to pronounce McBee?
Well, all I know is I've been through it a bunch of times going to Charlotte.
And you were going the speed limit too, weren't you?
You got that right, brother.
Because they got that finger pointing at you when you go into McBee. He said you slow your tail down. Here's a snap direct to the tailback this time, and I believe that's Quashid.
And that tackle was made by Ashton Walls. And, again,
no, it was Cusack.
They really haven't given up a lot on the ground. They've been pretty formidable up front. And yet the big explosive plays is what's done them in.
So 3rd down and a long 9 as Cusack picked up maybe a half a yard. So he'll direct that offense again with Reeves right next to him in the backfield. He sends a one receiver to the bottom of your screen, one to the top. And they're going to go deep again, and that's Quashid. Oh, did he catch it?
Yes, he caught it, and it was a heck of a catch. He actually stuck his right hand out and tipped the ball back
himself.
to his left hand.
Hey, if that's not a dun-dun-dun game,
and we got
right
a replay right here, Alan. You can see, look at this catch. He stretches out, tips it back, and hauls it in with his left hand. That is a heck of a
play
catch.
Of the day right there.
No question.
That's a top 10 play of the day if I've ever seen one.
There's no question about it. That was a great football catch, and that's one of the reasons that he's going on and playing on the next level at Kentucky.
Quashid. What a job, son. And there's Cusack, now just trying to run clock. I think that might be the best catch I've seen at any level this year.
Yeah, that was nice. It really was. The thing that was so impressive is it appeared that he just about tipped the ball back to himself.
Right back to himself. It was almost out of his reach, and he tipped it back to himself to make the catch and had the presence of mind to hang on when he was spilled hard in the middle of the field.
Yep.
2 up backs, 1 out of the single back pistol. And whistle before the offside on Cheraw.
I think we
Marion
had a Marion movement on that.
Yeah, that's a false start.
Well, the official on the left sideline, on the Cheraw sideline, and you can believe that if that receiver on that side moves, those coaches are going to let that official know.
Our spotter says that Ronquarius left a little bit early.
Understandable.
So it backs him up 5 yards. So instead of 2nd and 3, it's going to be 2nd and 7, 2nd and 8. So, got a chance. Then Ron Quarius will go wide to the left again. That's Jamison, by the way. And the near side receiver is Williams. Two backs up. They got max protection, and the pass is thrown sideways, intended for Reeves.
Yeah, and Marshall, the left corner, came up and made that play. He didn't actually because he was there, he had to adjust the pass a little bit, and had he thrown it, Marshall may have picked that thing off.
Yeah, they had max protection, but they still got one of the Braves through there to force him to get rid of the ball quicker than he wanted to.
Well, we're looking at 3rd and 8 right here, 3rd and 7, and I think they're going to run it 2 downs and let them have the ball if they want.
The clock kept running till I looked at it, and then it stopped. It was supposed to stop on the incomplete pass. They probably ran about 10 seconds off the clock, which is okay. Up 31 points. The home team gets a little bit of an advantage. That's called home field advantage, isn't it, Coach?
No, it's called cheating.
It's called home field advantage when you got a 31-point lead and you want that clock to run. Yeah.
Well, that was a good run for them then, and there again, Cheraw is in a situation where they got another short yardage, and they need to stop right here and get the ball back and not make this game get totally out of hand. We got trips to the left, but I believe you're going to see Cusack handling the ball right
up
here.
The middle, I guarantee it. Trips to the left, one to the right, and he's going to run it right up the middle. That's a quarterback draw. That was a design play.
And he got it by 1 yard, Coach.
Yep, he got the 4 yards that he needed for the first down, and it'll move the chains on the Myrtle Beach Hyundai first down. Under 3.5, or make that 5.5 to play. They move the sticks, and Marion keeps possession of the football, and they just want that clock to continue to run. And we're going to have a long post game tonight, Coach, because we're past the 9:30 mark, or will be before it's over. So we got to fill up to 10 o'clock.
Oh, that's fine, Alan.
Yeah, we got things to talk about. Trips front to back on the near side right. 9, 8, and 3 were lined up nose to tail. And we've got a timeout on the field. Actually, a penalty on the field, not a timeout. We got a penalty. It was a false start again against Marion, so 1st and 15. And it's going to be under 5 minutes before we snap it again, and Marion is going to move to 5-0 on the year. Most likely hang on to that number 4 spot in the 2A rankings.
And it kind of depends on who's in front of them and what they do.
Well, again, don't get me started on the academies, Coach, or the collegiates. I don't like talking about the collegiates unless I'm on my show, because then I get to say what I want. I can't say what I want on this.
Yeah,
this
you gotta let it be censored by
right.
the big D.
That's
Donald
right.
Smith.
I'm not right. Listen, ABC 15 and Lucky Dog Television Productions has all the properties of this show on my morning show on ESPN Radio 96.3 FM.
And South Florence just went up on South Point 20-13. They've got the conversion coming up, and there's less than 3 minutes to play. So if they can hang on defense, they can maybe pull this one out against, what did you say, the number 4 team in
number
4A?
3.
Number 3 in 4A.
South Florence is 1, Hartsville's 2, and South Point's 3. So.
Well, and I tell you, I saw where Irmo was putting a whooping on Hartsville, and I told you this before, Alan. I never liked playing a good team after they got beat, because when a good football team and a well-coached football team gets beaten, you can believe the next week their focus is going to be sharper, they're going to have less distractions, and they're going to be ready to play.
Well, Hartsville's two-headed running back situation is hard to beat, though. Carmelo McDaniel has been good since he was a freshman, and so is this kid. Quaysheed Scott takes it to the house. Man, is he tough. I was going to say before, Coach, he took a beating and kept on running on the last play. This time he sheds 3 tackles
you can
on
see
the Carolina
replay
Cool
right
touchdown.
here. Basically, he's running an inside zone, but he bounces that thing outside and just has enough athleticism to avoid contact and get in the end zone.
Broke 3 tackles, almost a 4th right at the goal line. And I'm going to tell you what, for not to be
well, they're kicking the football, Alan. I'll be daggone.
Yeah, they're going to bring in Cameron Felder and see if he can't add a point. But I'm telling you, Quaysheed Scott is a tough nut to crack. And it's blocked again. Both of his extra point attempts tonight have been blocked.
Yeah, and that usually tells you that there's some indecision either on the snapper or on the holder or on the kicker.
And somebody ain't blocking that guy coming around the left end.
Alan, that was a 10-play, 72-yard drive.
All right, we'll take a look at that when we come back with 3:22 to go, and it's a big lead for the home team. Back in a moment on the Conway Medical Center Friday Night Rivals, powered by Mr. Sparky.
Ronte.
Back. Okay. Ronte McClain is our spotter. And we were talking to him about he's been informing us about all the players for Marion.
Well, the only problem I got with Ronte is he thinks he's a dancer. But I've seen better on Saturday Night Live.
He hadn't been doing a two-step up here yet.
Oh, well, he's
been doing a little Michael Jackson backslide.
He wouldn't know the two-step, Alan.
Okay.
He's too young for that.
He's too young. Hey, Mr. Sparky is America's online and on-time electrician. With 3:22 to go, it's a 40-3 game as Marion's kicking off yet again. We got to take a look at our HTC This Is Life Connect With It game ball in the post game. I think we know who is going to be awarded that game ball by Rodney Berry afterwards. And Myrtle Beach Hyundai. Remember, no games, no gimmicks, just good deals at Myrtle Beach Hyundai. Here's your ensuing kickoff. And it's a high and short kick. I believe it's going to go out of bounds. It does. They'll bring it out to the 35. And no, well, okay, they throw the flag because the ball went out of bounds. I don't even know why they need to do that. That's just a wasted motion by the head judge.
But that's a wasted motion.
You got to do
enjoy.
it. Yeah, you got to do it.
Well, and then what they've got to do, they still have to spot where the ball went out so they can give the coach an option on where he wants the football. He's going to take that at the 35, obviously.
Sure.
I don't know why they're spotting it at the 40 or standing with the football at the 40. They're going to have to back him up.
No, he's going to back it up there. Yeah, sometimes now we look at the field and misidentify what line that they're on as well, but sometimes when you're on the field, I guess it's a little bit harder.
Well.
Right, it's harder to tell which line you're at. And so they get it at the 35, 1st and 10, with less than 3.5 to play, down by 37. And we got a new quarterback in the ball game, and he's going to run around with it a little bit. That's Jamarcus Buchanan.
Yeah, and you know, he's a young quarterback, and typically what you want those guys to understand is you don't run around a lot back there in the backfield. If you're going to take the ball and run with it, find a seam and go.
He's a junior, so he'll probably take over the well, actually, Nolan is also a junior.
Well, and actually Buchanan was a quarterback last year, if I'm not mistaken. I was looking at some statistics from the year before, and I could be wrong on that, but I think he was the quarterback. And so, obviously, they've got two that are pretty good.
They got 4 wides, and it's going to be a quarterback option. He pulls it back and keeps it himself, and he's dropped for a 4-yard loss.
Yeah, I think he may have gotten the wind knocked out of him there. I can't quite tell, but he's acting like a dead man, but they're picking him up. No, he doesn't have the wind knocked out. He wouldn't be able to bend over like that.
He's a big feller, too. About 6'2", and I think he's going to take himself out of the ball game.
Well, I think the official actually sent him off, and we're going to see the third quarterback. Or is this going to be – yep.
Caden Thomas in the ball game for Cheraw. Ronte knew who it was before we did. So Caden Thomas at quarterback's going to send 2 receivers wide to the near side, 2 to the far side right. Ball right in the middle of the field. And a single setback is Joint, and they give it to him. So nothing fancy.
But, you know, Alan, I really think that Joint has played well tonight, given that he's a freshman. He runs the ball. I really like the way he gets his pads down and really has good movement in traffic.
Yeah, he's got some work to do. Also in is Bobo Gaston for Cheraw. He's number 35. Got some prodigious hair there. Love to have hair like that. I remember days when I had hair,
Alan,
Coach.
I was going to say you'd love to have hair.
Hair, period. That's what I'm saying. I remember hair. I remember hair. I did. I had a thick mane, Coach. Our director is now getting into the fray. Thanks,
and we got
Donald.
Austin McIntosh that's punting for Cheraw, and he's been under duress all night long. They didn't come after it quite as hard.
That was a good kick.
Yeah, he did have a good one. Of course,
he got a
bad
bounce.
And it's down by number 14. Not sure who, but anyway, the Swamp Foxes will have it once again. And my expectation is that they're going to run this ball out.
Yeah.
They put it on the ground, let the clock run
Less
out.
than
and I
a
think
minute.
that would be the gentlemanly thing to do. I think Cheraw has played their butts off, and you got to give them a lot of credit for kind of having some tough things go against them, but they kept playing the game and played it hard. And I always respect that when the team on the other side continues to play. Marion at the same time, and both teams had a pretty clean game as far as penalties and that type of thing. And I think the officials did a good job.
Officials have been great tonight compared to last week.
Yeah,
they've been great, period. But but last week was, woo. Hey, tonight's game sponsored by Conway Medical Center, compassionate care you can trust. And we've got a timeout by Marion on the field.
And the reason you got a timeout here, Alan, is simply because when you start substituting, it is the hardest thing in the world to get the right people at the right spots.
So who knows that they're supposed to be on the field and who doesn't?
I'm telling you. And you're hollering at one of your coaches that's in the box and say, who do you want? Who do you want?
Right.
And so it really can be confusing over the phones.
Benjamin Franklin is your punctual plumber. Make sure to call him anytime that you've got a problem. They are here to make your house home again when that disaster strikes. A&I Fire and Water Restoration does the same. Tonight's closed captioning exclusively brought to you by the Bath Fitters as well.
2:10 remaining, 22-19 now. South Florence.
22-19? Ooh.
Said 2:10 remaining, inside coming.
And that game is in Rock Hill, too, Coach.
That is in Rock Hill. Now, they beat them in Rock Hill 2 years ago. Beat them in South Florence last year.
Last year, yeah. So things are always getting close. And you can hear Rodney's getting ready for his post-game celebration with the coaches with Marion, because we're under 40 seconds to play, and we may have one more play, and that'll be it. And make that Tyrese Davis. Is that how you say it, Ronte?
Yes.
Tyrese Davis back at quarterback for Marion. And that will do it. That'll be the final play of the contest. It'll be a 37-point win for the home team, the number 4 ranked Marion Swamp Foxes will go to 5-0 on the year. Cheraw will drop to 1-2, and we'll come back with the celebration and trophy presentation and the HTC game ball. Thank you to our good friend Ronte McLean as our spotter tonight. We'll come back with more. 40-3 is your final. Marion over Cheraw on the Conway Medical Center Friday Night Rivals, powered by Mr. Sparky.
I think you got plenty of time on this one. Okay. Look at it. We got it till 10 o'clock. Okay. So take your time.
Have they confirmed Pusheen Johnson? Did they confirm him?
We got a 2-minute break. We're going to come back. Let's get them rounded up.
Congratulations, Coach. Appreciate it. We'll get right here if that's okay. You're going to be on my right. We got a little bit of time, though. Okay. They're telling me now, I'm not sure. I think Pusheen Jackson's player of the game. Is it Jackson?
Pusheen Scott.
Scott. Pusheen, okay. I got to confirm that now.
We're going over there with a J3 tribute. Hey, when they finish with that, we got here.
I'm believe.
Tony Zag from Mr. Sparky joining us now to talk. How you doing, buddy?
Great.
Good.
Good. Great. It's
hey,
great to be back out here.
I know football season.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, just talk about your sponsorship for this event over the last 5 years and just what it means for you to sponsor Friday Night Rivals.
It's so nice for us to be able to come out here, support all the area's youth, including the PD, which we have a store at now, where we're able to handle their plumbing and electrical needs as well. But, just being throughout the whole community, it gives these young athletes a way to shine a little bit. We like helping them be able to highlight those days of their being out here playing hard and digging in. Standing out here, you're seeing some student athletes already practicing out here, and it's warm.
I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you for sponsoring it.
Yeah.
Back at Fox Stadium where the Marion Swamp Foxes roll tonight, 40-3, and they scored on their first possession after a long kickoff, their first down on their first possession, and then Coach just continued to pile on.
You know what, though, Alan, when you look at the statistics, it wasn't just unbelievable, unrealistic. Marion only had 103 yards on the ground rushing. They had 154 passing, 257.
But those were on two major plays.
Yeah, and they were 5 for 7. The difference was they had explosive plays. They got kids that can make big plays. And then Cheraw had 85 rushing but 0 passing. But they did have one 70-yard pass, but it went the other way. And so, and what I mean is an interception there. So when you look at that, really, Marion didn't really just control the football and win the game. I think they made big plays to win the game.
And our former mayor of Marion and our newest broadcast partner is chomping at the bit to award the championship trophy to the head coach, Brian Hennessy, and his Marion Swamp Foxes. So, Rodney, take it away, my friend.
Hey, guys, thanks so much. It was a great night. It's a great night to be a Swamp Fox, huh?
Yes, sir, it is. Yeah. Great night to be a Swamp Fox.
Cheraw was really a formidable opponent coming into this thing, but you guys just dismounted them. I mean, it was a full effort, defense, offense. You guys played incredible ball tonight.
We did. It was a total team effort, a great week of preparation from the staff and the players, and we were motivated for this football game, and the players went out and executed the game plan.
Yeah. So I can't help but think y'all were thinking a little bit about last year. Tell us a little bit how that unfolded last year.
Well, those that were returning, we've been motivated since last November. It left a bad taste in our mouth, and we wanted to get some revenge tonight, and the players executed the game plan.
They sure did, and not only that, but I'm from the old school, and there was some popping tonight.
Yeah, we term it lay the wood. So we defense got out and laid the wood, and offense wanted to lay smack down too. So it was we knew it was going to be a physical game, and we wanted to be the physical team tonight.
Yeah. No doubt. I mean, you played sound football, but you guys were inspired and played with a lot of motivation. That was great to see.
Appreciate it. Yeah, the players executed the plays, the game plan to perfection. We ran some things we hadn't planned on this year. So we surprised them with a few plays and throwing it on first down. So a couple things that helped us get lead in second half.
Well, got to tell you, it was a full team effort, but these guys really played well together. You got some athletes on this team this year.
We do, and they work hard in the weight room and film study and practice, so it carries over on a Friday night.
Yeah, no doubt. So I mentioned it was a full team effort, and it is, and I know that's what you believe in, but one player stood out quite a bit. And we're going to ask him to come down here and join us. Koshing, did I say that right? Okay, you're looking all modest, but congratulations. Talk a little bit about the game tonight.
We had a hard week of practice. I feel like it was an amazing game. We could have did better, but I feel like defense played an amazing game. Offense we can get better at, and it was an amazing game.
Yeah, sure was. This is something you're going to remember the rest of your life tonight, and what this is the HTC game ball, and we present that to you tonight, good sir.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Thanks so much. So we've got some more awards to give here tonight, Coach. And guys, what we have here is kind of shiny and pretty, isn't it? Let me read this to you because we've got good partners. This is the 2023 Conway Medical Center Friday Night Rivals on the CW21. Guys, you are the Week 4 champions. Does that mean anything to you? I'm going to hand this to Coach, but this is for you guys to keep, all right? Congratulations. You played a great ball game tonight.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Yeah. And let me also say this, wonderful hospitality to our crew when we arrived here. Class act here in Marion, and we thank you folks for that.
Well, we aspire to be class acts, and we appreciate being on the Friday Night Rivals game of the week.
Okay. We look forward to following y'all the rest of the year, okay?
Thank you.
Hey, guys, throwing it back to you.
Thank you, Rodney. You can tell the pride just gushing out of him. He says he walked to the stadium here tonight because he is Mr. Marion. Big win for his team. He was a former mayor here, and they just put it on. And I'm glad Rodney mentioned the hospitality. Philip Atkinson, who's an attorney here in town, the stat guy from Marion took care of us. They made this stadium look like, or made the press box like home for us.
Yeah, we came up here. They had our names on the chairs. They had a spread out there for us with snacks and drinks. And the thing that I want to say is I hope that's a challenge for everywhere we go in the future.
If every press box had an opening like this where we could be wide open, no screen in front, and have the hospitality that we had here, it would be awesome. Final score 40-3. Marion wins it, but we've got some highlights, Coach. Let's roll.
Well, before we get to the highlights, I'll tell you one highlight is the number 1 South Florence Bruins beat the number 4 South Point Stallions 22-17 tonight, or 22-18.
19, I think. 22-19.
And in South Point, so they'll come home. And next week, I think, don't we have the South Florence Hartsville game, or is that in 2 weeks?
2 weeks. Next week, we are at North Myrtle Beach as they take on Carolina Forest. So that's going to be a great Horry County battle next week and closer to our home. So that'll be awesome. But let's go to the highlights and see what Quashid Scott did all night long, and the number 2 just put it on. Here he is with the first touchdown of the ball game, and he just kept going. And I'm telling you, when we see this pass he caught where he tipped it to himself later, there is his second touchdown of the night.
Well, and what you see, Alan, he's just outrunning the coverage. That's what it boils down to. But he runs the football, he throws the football. He catches the football. He does a little bit of everything.
Third touchdown of the night.
Again, I give a lot of credit to Brian Hennessy and the way that he uses him. You can see the catch there. He tipped to himself and made a great catch on that ball.
That's an ESPN play of the day.
No doubt. It was a beautiful play.
He deserves to be on plays of the day tonight. No question whatsoever.
He does.
And 3 touchdowns, that great catch. And he's a bigger kid than I thought. He standing next to Rodney, he looks a little more stout.
When you see him running up and down the field and doing it with speed, you kind of take for granted that they're not that big. But he very much was. Of course, he's a Kentucky
signed
commit,
with Kentucky Wildcats.
And so my guess is that typically they're going to have some girth to them if they're in a big-time program like that.
Marion, speaking of big-time programs, Marion is really turning into a program that's turning out college prospects.
Well, they've done that all along. I remember when Coach Rankin was here, they had college prospects, it seemed like every year. And it's been a community that's loved football and supported it for a long time.
Let's go game highlights.
Yeah, this was on the first kickoff of the game. And so basically.
First punt. This was a punt. This was a return punt.
And basically all he did was run it down. Now, right there, he got to celebrating a little too much and got his behind run down from the back. But this was the first touchdown. And really, Alan, that kind of set the tone for the entire game. You can see right here. Let's see what we're getting. That's a great run, and this is a freshman running back from Cheraw. I was really impressed with him all night long. This was, I think, a 34-yard field goal, 38-yard field goal. He was perfect on the night. And then you can see right here, Cusack was once Cusack breaks the plane, what you've got to do when you're rushing him is be conscious of what your horizontal or what your vertical and horizontal alleys are, because if he sees an alley, he's gone.
Well, that was a big
now, right
hit
here is
on
when
Reeves.
he fumbled the football, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, he fumbled.
And he was very precarious in how he was carrying that football in.
I tell you what, Coach, you saw a big hit by Cheraw, big hits by Marion all night long, and you heard Coach Hennessy say they wanted to be the more physical team, and I think they were in the second half.
And I honestly think, too, that they were very they were very hurt last year. They had a great season. They crushed Cheraw in the first game that they played, and then Cheraw came back and beat their behind 21-20. Now, here was what I think turned the game entirely on its head when he had that 71-yard interception.
Yep.
And so there again, I think that it was a big win for Marion. I think Cheraw has nothing to hang their heads about. You can tell that they're well coached, and you can tell their kids play the game like it ought to be played.
Well, you know what we talked about in the pregame. They lost 70-something to not that much in the regular season, and then came back and paid that receipt in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I think that was a lot of what Marion's motivation was in talking to Coach Hennessy and some of the players up here tonight.
Well, again, I'm sure that Coach Andy Poole is reminding his players of that on their ride home tonight, that you still got, region play. There's still another week before region play starts, and then you got region play that determines your playoff
And, Alan,
spot.
I think that's the thing that you got to understand in coaching high school football is that you got to keep them on the edge as long as you can in the course of a season because you never know what's going to happen. I remember our first real deep run into the playoffs. We were 7-4 regular season team and really struggled early on, but ended up having a deep run in the playoffs, and then it kind of set the tone for some years to come. And that's why it's so important to kind of keep the kids focused, even when things are not going your way.
Yeah, Kwashid, you just saw him there again, had a huge night. He was our HTC scoreboard, our HTC game ball winner tonight. And congratulations to Marion as they move to 5-0 on the year. They're ranked number 4 in the state. I don't suspect they'll fall any further than that next week. And we'll see what happens in the playoffs when they get to meet up with the collegiates in 2A ranks, and I'm sure that they'll be welcoming that challenge.
And one more comment, Alan. I don't know who gave us these muscadine grapes before the game, but thank you.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised you haven't been chomping on them all night long.
That was because it was under the paper, and I just found it.
You just found it? Okay, well, we're going to be at North Myrtle Beach next week as the Chiefs will host Carolina Forest, and we want you to be back with us again on the Conway Medical Center Friday night rivals from the reservation on the north end of the Grand Strand, or as they call it, the Hank, on the campus at North Myrtle Beach. I want to thank Conway Medical Center, Mr. Sparky, and all the fine sponsors that you see right there. For Rodney Berry, head coach Chuck Jordan, I am Alan Smothers, and your final score, the Marion Swamp Foxes, the home team, take the victory, move to 5-0, 40-3 over the Cheraw Braves. Everyone, have a great Friday evening. So long, everybody.